All right, so here in this sixth module, the final presentation for scheduling for next year, we will go over some details as far as courses and different things offered here. So again, I want to remind you that our model here is for a four-year university and to prepare you for post-secondary success, specifically as a four-year university. And also want to remind you that it is possible for each of you to be able to attend a four-year university, and we will help you to get there. With that, actually, I want to give you a little bit of some data that college graduates going to a four-year university and getting that degree are actually likely to earn around 22,000 more per year than those with only a high school diploma. So it's something to consider and think about as you kind of go through this to plan for a four-year university. That you know that having that degree can afford you some more money. Uh, Here's actually also some more statistics about going to college and then getting a career after college. That notice as you go more to the right and you earn more degrees. That last one is a professional degree, actually above a doctoral degree. The average earnings that you can get is definitely advantageous as far as your checking account goes. Also, individuals with only high school diploma are about twice as likely to be unemployed as than those with a college degree. So it's yet another reason as far as to make sure that you have some job security and to be able to get a job and a career is to go to and get that four-year university degree. Young adults actually with a college degree are much less likely to also be obese. There is a relationship between health and college degree. It's not to say that if you don't get a four-year university, you're not going to be a healthy individual, but there is a relationship there to be aware of. By 2018, that's right now, right? Around 60% of the jobs in the U.S. will require some form of higher education. And this was printed, I forget how long ago, where it started looking at all of the different degree plans as far as master's degrees, bachelor's degrees, and stuff as far as how many jobs out there require some form of higher education. And the latest statistic is actually available on the site that y'all have been visiting as far as the ONET profile that you came up with. It's on there as well. So if we're preparing you for a four-year university and we want to get you there, the big question is what are those colleges looking for? What are four-year universities looking for when it comes to high school? What do you need to have to make sure that you're able to get in and to be successful? It's a common question that we get from both parents and students, so I want to talk about that a little bit. Typically, students, you want to be the best applicant to ensure that you get accepted into the university of your choice. So the important thing to realize, though, is that there is no universal answer. Each university is going to be looking for different things. Some universities want, they might be looking geared to more athletics. Some might be geared more toward fine arts. Some might be geared toward more engineering. So different universities might have a focus. But a lot of public four-year universities are for numerous focuses, to where that a student who wants to change focus or go and kind of figure out what it is they want to do, a public four-year university is going to have a lot of different things that you can do. The National Association for College Admission and Counseling actually stated in the 2015 edition of their annual State of College Admission report that the factors that admissions officers use to evaluate applications from first-time freshmen have remained largely consistent over the past 20 years. So whereas they may not be universal, they all are pretty much the same, or they share a general theme. And that is students' academic achievements, which include grades, strength of curriculum, and admission test scores, constitute the most important factors in the admission decision. So that's what we call the three pillars of college admissions. And that's your grades, which translate to your GPA, your high school GPA, strength of curriculum. And we're going to talk a lot about what that means. That means they're looking at the courses you decided to take, and admission test scores. and that's your SAT, your ACT, or your PSAT, all of your big standardized test scores. And those are the three pillars that universities admissions use to look at a student. So to determine strength of a curriculum, universities actually compare courses offered to you to which ones you decided to take. So it's not about, here at the school versus another student in another school saying, oh, well, they had more opportunity. They level the playing field by saying, no, no, no. Which courses did you have the option to take, and which ones did you decide to take from there? That's how they judge your strength of curriculum. So to do this, universities often request what's known as the high school profile. It's also called the secondary school report. And ours is actually available on the school website at About. We develop this every year depending on the graduating class. So if you click here on About, you'll scroll down. You'll see here there's the high school profile. And if you want to look at the high school profile, it gives a good overview of the school. Talks about our average SAT scores for that graduating class, average PSAT scores. Lists a bunch of universities that our students have attended, as well as how many of our current senior class is going to go to a four-year university. And also talks a lot about our admissions policy. This gives them the idea that we're a very small school. That's what we kind of talk about there, the school at the beginning, as well as what's the mission of our school. And it does talk about our GPA and class rank to let them know how we are able to calculate that. So that information is given to universities every year, and so that's how they find out about what's available to you. As a rule of thumb, universities actually consider AP courses more rigorous and stronger than non-AP courses. Additionally, universities also consider dual enrollment courses or college courses, such as those at HSCC, to be stronger than on-campus high school courses. So that's kind of what they're looking at, right, as far as when they're judging strength of curriculum, is those AP and pre-AP courses that are now available to you for next year. Kat Cohen, who is actually a leading independent university admissions counselor, stated that while one college might need more female STEM students, and again, STEM for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, another might need to admit more business students. So what all colleges want, however, are students that are ready for the demands of a college course load, will make good grades, and graduate within 4 years. So that's what a university is looking for to determine as far as admissions. There's no better indicator than grades in challenging courses like AP or IB. We do not have the IB program here at CSA, but we offer plenty of AP courses as well as pre-AP courses. And again, they're designed to mimic the rigor of college courses. So even if you have good ACT or SAT scores, and in many cases those are necessary to keep you from the no pile, right, to make you sure that you are a strong applicant. It doesn't give admissions officers a good view on your day-to-day. That was one day you took the test, whereas your grades, your GPA, your grade point average, is going to give a better view of kind of every day how you are as a student. So straight A's are impressive, but if all those A's are in standard classes, it's not going to be as impressive as straight A's in all AP courses or pre-AP courses. So again, colleges don't want to just see good grades. They want to see good grades in challenging classes. This is why we always tell students to take challenging yet appropriate. So as we go through this and discuss your 4-year course selection, that yet appropriate is going to be an important part of it, right? Are you strong in math and science? If so, then maybe that's where you should take some pre-AP and AP courses, right? If English is more your strong suit, then we can go there. Or if you're a student for all of your courses, where you're kind of strong across the board, then we would look at AP courses for all of it. And that's, again, where it's good grades and challenging courses, but again, where it's appropriate. Course selection also matters for students applying to certain academic programs. So if you're going to go into the engineering program and you want to get into that, then maybe you can take some challenging STEM courses. Excuse me, actually, can you move over here if you don't mind? Thank you. Yeah, right here so I can see it. Thank you. And it's essential to standing out as a specialist when applying to college. Again, if you want to go, let's say, for a business degree or you're getting into engineering, maybe taking some courses that relate to that in high school can help you with your application. All right, so let's talk about your freshman schedule, probably what most of you are interested in at this point. So a typical freshman course load looks like this. You're going to have English 1 or English 1 pre-AP. You'll have Algebra 1 or Algebra 1 pre-AP, unless, of course, you're taking Algebra 1 this year. Then we put you in Geometry. World Geography, Biology or Biology pre-AP. And there's your 4 core. You have your ELA core, your Math core, your Social Studies core, and then your Science core. Spanish 1 or Computer Science 1 or an elective. We'll talk about this a little bit later. So Spanish 1 if you're going to start foreign language with Spanish 1. If you're taking Spanish 1 this year, then you would take Spanish 2 next year. Or if you haven't started your foreign language, maybe you can take Computer Science 1 and Computer Science 2 to start off that foreign language. However, if you're not interested in either of those, then we would schedule you for an elective during that time so that you can kind of get that credit. And then your choice as far as a coherent sequence. So we talked about the 3 different coherent sequences. We'll ask you which one of those coherent sequences do you want to start. Again, you don't have to finish it. We just want you to start with one of the 3, kind of get your feet wet, see if you're interested in it. And it also will count as an elective unless it does count toward your endorsement. Well, it'll still count as elective, but whether or not it'll count toward your endorsement. And so that'll get you 6 courses there for your freshman year. I do get the question often, can we take more? Yes, you can definitely take more than 6 courses. However, that happens at roundup. We'll schedule you for these 6, and you'll make some decisions with these 6. And in our one-on-one meeting, we can kind of talk about a little bit more as far as what you might want to take more than the 6. But you'll schedule you for the 6, and then at roundup, we can look at the master schedule, and you can start to add courses if you'd like to. I think I actually went over a lot of that. Yeah, we require all freshmen to start on the coherent sequence. And another thing is although you're not required to take world geography, remember that you have to take U.S. history, you have to take government and econ, but you can take either world history or world geography. Even though you don't have to take world geography, because you can choose to take world history or world history AP, we do require you for scheduling purposes to take world geography. So we put all freshmen in world geography. So it's one thing to note as you're going through this is that we do put you in world geography, so you'll get the choice of whether or not to take world history or world history AP. Again, we still recommend the 4x4 plan. So we recommend you take 4 core courses every year. So we think it's a good idea for you to get a social studies every year. All right, let's talk about AP and pre-AP courses, those decisions. Advanced placement courses labeled with an AP and pre-AP courses to prepare you for those AP courses. They are designed for students to prepare you for that rigor of college education, for those college courses. Typically, AP courses require higher level thinking, placing you in a role of strong expectations. That's where the university was talking about the strength of your curriculum. AP is considered typically a strong curriculum choice because it has higher level thinking and kind of higher expectations. AP curriculum is actually not designed by us. We don't decide what to teach in it. It's decided by the College Board, and we actually have to ask for approval to teach it. So, and when it comes to GPA calculations, grades in AP and pre-AP courses do get are weighted more. They kind of get what's known as a bump. In other words, typically grades in AP pre-AP courses can increase a student's overall GPA. And if you want to look at the details of that, kind of where that information is, you can go again to our website. And if you go under Counseling Corner, right here, GPA, this gives you a good description of what counts, what doesn't count toward GPA, and again to read it, as well as, I think we might have gone over this, but there's that GPA conversion chart here that kind of shows you what the different grades are. And here you can kind of see that weighted GPAs where your AP and pre-AP courses, notice they kind of get that bump. They get that 1-point bump. So they can typically help your GPA. So actually, when it comes to that, when you get to make a decision, I often get the question of, is a B or a C in an AP course better than an A or a B in a non-AP course? Right? So if you're trying to decide which one to take, you're like, well, if I get a B or a C in an AP, isn't that stronger than an A or a B? And the answer is not completely clear. It's not a yes or no question. It's not We can't directly answer that. So if you're thinking about it from a GPA point of view, and whether or not it'll drop your GPA, it completely depends on what your current GPA is. Instead of going back to the chart to explain, it's going to depend on what your current GPA is and whether or not that grade will be above that GPA point. And that's something that I'm here to also help you with. If you ever want to ask me that question to go in, I can luckily have a math background, so I like doing all that kind of stuff. I can kind of show you what it could possibly do to affect your GPA. But if you're talking about college admissions, right, they want strength of curriculum. They want that really strong curriculum. They do look at your course load and your GPA as two major factors, right? That's two of the big pillars. Which courses did you decide to take? What were your grades in those courses? And so GPA is something to consider, but it's also course load, but again, whether or not it's appropriate to that education. So it is a great way to show you've pushed yourself and you've risen the challenge because they're typically more challenging than a non-AP version. So sometimes there's more work, sometimes there's harder homework, higher expectations, and it's more thought-provoking. I put this in here because students love to just take an AP course because they're like, oh yeah, college is one AP course. They think it looks great. But then they get in the AP course and they're like, oh wow, I have so much homework all the time and I'm overloaded with everything. Right, it's about what you can handle. Maybe getting that, A or B in that AP course might be affecting some of your other courses, which affects your GPA as well. So that's why it's important to consider what's appropriate for you. All right, let's talk about courses taken outside of the school. We offer a certain amount of courses, but you can actually get high school credit outside of the school. And there's a few ways that you can do that. You might want to do it for different reasons. Let's say you want to advance a track. Let's say you're an 8th grader this year, as you are, and you wanted to take Algebra 1 this year, and it didn't happen, right? That test you took last year didn't happen. But you want to be able to still go further in math. You want to take 5 years of math. So maybe you take Algebra 1 outside of the school. Another thing is let's say you didn't do well in a course, and you need to recover credit. Or there's a course that's not offered here. So for instance, let's say you want to take like American Sign Language. Excuse me. And it's not offered here, so you might want to take it somewhere else. You actually have numerous options, and I've listed a lot of them here. And there's stuff that we can look on the website to see some of those options. Excuse me while I cough up a lung here. All right, let's talk about off-campus PE. Some of you compete in athletics outside of the school. You can actually use that to count as your PE credit. Remember, you do need to get 1 credit in PE. So this could count for that if you're off campus. In order to participate, you do need to sign up for it or let me know that you are taking it. And here on the website, we can go to there. So if you go here, credit from non-CSA sources under Counseling Corner, that's going to list a lot of your options. And notice right there, that last one or second to last one is off-campus PE. And here's where you can find out information. The biggest thing is whether or not it's going to be on the approved off-campus PE agency. So you want to look at that and you want to see if you can find your agency and whether or not it's approved. But every year we ask if there's any that want to be added to this list. So watch for that email at the beginning of the year in case you want to take advantage of that. Please remember that, though, you must fill out the document and it's given to you by semester. Another one very similar is community-based fine arts program. In order to get your fine arts credit, if you're participating in a community-based fine arts program, you can actually count that course toward it. And that's also available on our website. Same thing, credit from non-CSA sources, community-based fine arts programs. Right there for you. So that's another one. The big one I'm sure you've heard of is Austin Community College and taking dual enrollment courses. So it's taking a college course while you're in high school and getting credit for both high school and college. It's a great way to get ahead on things, as well as because typically the courses are free while you're in high school. So it's a great way to get ahead on some college credit, so that you're not spending so much money while you're in college, which is awesome. And if you actually can start this summer, once you have finished your 8th grade year, you can take advantage of the dual credit program. It isn't guaranteed to be free every semester, though. So they revamp their situation. Sometimes a course might be free, and then next year it might not be free anymore. So you kind of have to check every year. But typically you only have to pay for books, and there are some courses for which you do have to pay. But again, on our website, you can find out more information, especially on how to get started. So if you were interested in taking advantage of this program, again, under our website, under Counseling Corner, credit from non-CSA, they have ACC dual enrollment here. So if you were interested in getting started, you click on this registration process right here, and it shows you step 1, how to get started, and goes through all of the different steps. So if you're interested in starting ACC this summer or maybe even next fall, go ahead and start those steps now. Also on this website, you'll look at the conversion chart. This tells you what course at ACC counts for which course at Chaparral Star Academy. So if you're interested in, let's say, taking Spanish at ACC, you would enroll for Spanish 1411. So this kind of gives you a nice chart. Those yellow ones are ones that are not free. So everything kind of highlighted there are the ones that are not free. But that website should hopefully give you a lot of information, and if not, I'm always here to answer your questions. Another option is TXVSN, which stands for the Texas Virtual School Network. And during the school year, you can actually do it also during the summer if you want. You can take courses virtually. They're distance learning courses, if you want to get some credit. We actually cover the costs here at the school. As long as you're enrolled in 7 courses or less, we will actually cover the costs. It is possible that a student could actually work on your TXVSN course if it's during the year. We might be able to give you a 40-minute period that you can focus on that TXVSN course. So even though you don't have a teacher in the classroom, you have a virtual teacher that you can go through in order to be able to get this. But we look at that after the master schedule's been finalized. That's at Roundup, is when we kind of start looking at that. So if you do decide to take one of these courses during the summer, the cost does fall on you and your family. So it's something to think about. And also, taking a course during the summer, they might have the course by semester. So you might have to do 2 courses over the summer to try to get it. If you do want to take it, you need to register for the course. You do need to make sure it falls within that enrollment period that's determined by TXVSN. And if you wish to take a course, you must complete the course registration request form at least 15 business days before the close of the enrollment period. So if you go to our website, again under Counseling Corner, credit from non-CSA, that last one here is TXVSN courses. And that's the form right here. If you wish to take it, you would fill out that course request registration form. But before that, if you want to look at the courses they offer, this link here brings you to the Texas Virtual School Network's website. And then if you scroll down here, the course catalog. Oops, not the video. Right, not the video, but go to Intersite. And then if you scroll down here, course catalog. On your left-hand side, you'll be able to kind of filter it. Like, so let's say it's 2017-18, and you want to look at the summer courses that are offered. And let's say you want to look at what math courses are offered over the summer. Then you look, they actually only have 2 this summer, and that's math models. But you can click on those to be able to see if the dates fit in there, right? You look at the sections here. Notice it tells you the enrollment dates. So we're still within that enrollment period. So that's good. And so you would go and fill out that form and then let us know that you want to take that course. and scroll through this. Some of the other things that are cool about TXVSN is that AP courses taken through TXVSN actually factor into your GPA. So besides pre-AP and AP courses that we offer here, this is the only other option to get that bump to your GPA, is to take AP courses through TXVSN. And that is available to you. The important thing that might be of interest to you is this does include Human Geography AP, which can replace, that's not supposed to be World Geography AP, just World Geography period. So instead of taking World Geography next year, if you want to sign up for AP Human Geography through TXVSN, you can do that as well, and it will replace World Geography. So that could already kind of affect some decisions you want to make. One thing to realize is there is the possibility of getting an alternate schedule. And what I mean by that is you're going to be labeled next year as a morning or an afternoon student. And first through sixth period is a morning schedule, 7th through 12th is an afternoon schedule. However, in order to make the master schedule work, in order to get all the classes to work and everybody to be on the same schedule, sometimes it is possible that we have to dip into another session. I think there are actually some 8th graders that are already dipping into the other session. You might be an afternoon student who comes earlier or a morning student who stays later, right? This is possible as an alternate schedule because of the scheduling. We try not to do this, but we won't know about it we won't finalize it until Roundup. So we won't know until Roundup whether or not, yeah, you might have to come here, your morning students, you might have to come here 1st through 7th period next year. Again, we try to minimize it, but sometimes it's not always possible. And so that's in late July at Roundup that you would find out that result. But it is unfortunately a common scenario for high school students. It's a little bit more common for sophomores and juniors than anyone else. And it's just the nature of our school. If you do have any younger siblings, we will provide supervision during those alternate periods. Full-time status. A full-time CSA student receives instruction in at least 6 courses, which can include CSA courses, TXVSN courses, and ACC courses. So by combining all of those, as long as you have 6, you're a full-time student. Some that do not count are aid periods. If you have to have an aid period, which some of you may have heard about or know students who have aid periods. Off-campus PE does not count, nor does community-based fine arts program. Those don't count toward full-time status. Nor does a correspondence course, which is another option of courses that you can take, or credit by exams. So starting next year with your class, it is a school requirement that you must be a full-time student. So that's also something to take into consideration as we start scheduling, is we'll schedule you for 6, which isn't usually a bad thing. You want to get as many credits out of the way as possible, as soon as possible for your junior, senior year. We're starting to take really strong AP courses if you decide to. But please realize that it is a requirement, and it'll be a requirement all the way up through and including your junior year. Senior year is a little bit different, but freshman, sophomore, and junior year, it is a requirement for you to be a full-time student. All right, we do maintain a list of courses that are going to be offered at the school for next year. So as you're kind of going through your plan and trying to think about which courses you offer, you actually on the 8th grade scheduling website. And let's go ahead and pull up that website. It isn't completely updated. Once we have finished updating it, you'll actually get an email that gives you kind of instructions on how to sign up for an individual's meeting with me, as well as how to fill out some forms you need before. So again, if you go to scheduling and then 8th grade scheduling, you'll get there. Please note that it has not been updated. Some of it has been updated for what you need to do. But right here, courses offered at CSA for next year. And you can download this document and gives you a list of all the different courses that we offer here. So notice in your math and your science, we now have those pre-AP courses. And so this gives you a list of all the different courses that we offer here at the school for next year. So feel free to look at that and figure out which courses you're thinking about. Also, the website contains a list of elective descriptions. So in case you hear of a course that you may not know what it's about, You can actually go here to the elective descriptions, and this gives a good description of all the different electives that we offer here at the school. So that may be also something you're interested in looking at to try to figure out what it is you may want um, for next year. All right, we're actually making good timing here, so I think I might have a few minutes. So the question is what do you do now? Now that I've given you all this information, kind of given you all these resources, what do you do now? So you're going to have to prepare for the individual meeting with me. We've kind of gone all through all this, but I need to know the answers to some certain questions so I can help prepare your graduation plan before we meet. So the first thing you have to do is choose a program of study. So which program of study fits your goals and those interests that we've gone over. Then you'll need to choose one coherent sequence to follow. Which one do you want to follow? Which of the three interests you? And which one is also closely related to your goals or your career that you might eventually go into? You need to choose a foreign language option, Spanish 1 or computer science 1, or maybe neither. And then choose an endorsement you wish to achieve. What's the endorsement that you want out of all of them, right? There's 5 of them. So which endorsement? We've gone over the endorsements, took a quiz on it. Which of those 5 interests you? And again, which one's related closely to your career goal? Once you've figured out those 4, you'll complete the online Google form. And again, I will update that and send it out to you. But if we go back here to that 8th grade scheduling website, I'll have you completed the high school here. There's the first step, second step, and then this is supposed to say third. See, it's not. Is the online Google form, and you'll click on that. Oh, right, I don't even have it open yet. It'll bring up the form for you to fill out, where you'll let me know the answers to those questions, so that I can kind of help prepare. Also on this 8th grade scheduling website, if you notice this, the 8th grade individual meeting prep 2018, this one has been updated. This just kind of gives you a quick overview of the different things that you need to decide. Again, how to decide which program of study, which coherent sequence to follow, and I kind of give you some descriptions of the coherent sequences, as well as that kind of visual of how we follow which one. Which foreign language option might be best for you, and then which endorsement to choose. And then at the end of that document, I kind of give you a summary of what to do and submit. So the different steps. I do have a deadline for the completion of that form, and that's Friday, April 20th. So you'll need to complete this Google form Friday, April 20th, and I will take the information from that Google form to help start creating your personal graduation plan, and you'll also then set up a meeting with me so that we can get it. One more thing that I do want to show you on this website, there is how do I earn college credit? Students often ask, how do you earn college credit while in high school? And there's 4 different ways, and so we outline those 4 different ways that you can earn college credit while you're in high school here at CSA. And so that's another document that you might be interested to look at, as well as the courses other than CSA overview. This gives you an overview if you want to take any courses outside of the school, and gives you information on what each of those options are, and where to find out more information on that. So those are the decisions you'll need to make before we sign up for an individual meeting. So now I've got about 2 minutes real quick if you have any questions that I can answer. Yes?
On the off-campus PE, isn't there like a certain amount of hours you have to be like doing like something athletic, I guess, like sports or whatever?
So is there a time requirement for off-campus PE? There is, and I'm pretty sure it's 5 hours per week. But if you look at that website here again, Counseling Corner here, off-campus PE, it's part of that application. And so if you get here that substitution application, you read, there's 2 you choose from, 2 options. So one's either 15 hours per week, right there, and then this one's at least 5 hours per week. So it depends on which one it fits into, minimum of 15 or the minimum of 5. Depends on which option you choose. Any other questions? Yes.
For fine arts, If we're taking a music or theater class that is privately owned and is not a business, does that count or no?
It can be. It can't be just private lessons though. You have to be part of a program. So
Okay.
if you're just getting private lessons, unfortunately, we can't count that. But if it's part of a program, like there might be individual lessons, but then at the same time you get together and then you go and you perform at different places and stuff like that, where it's part of a program, then we could possibly consider it. But I'd feel free again, look there for more information if you kind of want to see and read that. Yes.
What is the cost estimate for any AC classes that we'll have to pay for?
Good. What is the cost estimate for ACC courses? Again, if it's one of those courses that weren't highlighted, so typically it's free and you only have to pay for books. College books can be expensive. They can even maybe cost $100 a pop. So that's something to definitely watch out for. But if you take one of those ACC courses that are listed, all your tuition is waived. So that's nice. All right. Well, actually, since we were kind of running out of